What's up, everybody? It's your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog, coming to you today talking about why Mariah Carey is still singing, why NBA and NFL players aren't billionaires. Many times people say, well, if I had that money, I'd do this. If I had that money, Erica, boy, you know what I would do? You wouldn't do nothing. You do the exact same thing. But the truth is, why Mariah Carey is still singing is the proof in the pudding. These people get millions of dollars. And there's four reasons I'm going to break out why they're still performing past their prime, doing things they would not normally want to do, being at events they don't want to be at. And it's really just four. It's four items, okay? So look, we're going to start it. People. The people they have around them, people they take with them to the top, per se. Look at LeBron. Look who he's taken to the top. These are all thinkers, thinking guys who are investing and doing well. Majority of these people are taking people from Section 8, poverty homes. You know, they may not even be in that bad of situation, maybe in just a suburbia. But yet they don't have the same type of network other people have. And so they want to impress. They want to impress these people. They want to impress mom. They want to impress dad. They want to impress everybody back in the neighborhood, you know? And that leads to burning out all your money. That's what it leads to. So number two, know-how. I've actually talked to several golf players and football players, and they are so in tune. My cousin was so in tune when he went to go play college at East Tennessee State. Before that, he was at Kansas. He literally failed very simple classes. Now, some people say, well, gosh, he's just dumb. No, they're spending hours upon hours upon hours investing into this one limited focus. And he comes from a family of investors, and people were teaching him about, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. But his focus was completely football. Just like Mariah Carey's focus is completely singing. It was just completely this one thing, impressing on this one thing. So what happens by the time you talk to a 20-year-old guy in college who is not going to go to the pros? This has been his entire focus. That's why you see football players after their scholarship runs out, they're there for summer school. They're there for the fall because now they've got to actually finish their degree. The degree is important. They have to go get something they can finish in because it's limited focus. You all know this. You can't be a master at piano and a master at CrossFit. Sometimes your brain can only really focus hard on one particular thing. So I call it limited focus. So by the time me and you say, well, common sense would say all he has to do is do 10% of this with his money. They don't even have that bandwidth. Their bandwidth is day in and day out. And the two friends I had in college that dated actual NFL, one of the guys was on the Miami Dolphins team. That's how his life was. His apartment was very sparse. He had grilled chicken and preset meals in the refrigerator. When you came and saw him, that's what his life was about. Getting up, eating these meals, workouts. In that order. Nothing else. Nothing else. And so the focus is so limited. There's no room for you to talk to them about financials. Anybody who comes in there with a smooth kind of talking tongue could get to that guy or girl because they have limited focus and limited know-how. Scams. Now, this is what I really want to say. I've read several articles about people being scammed. Even when The Rock Johnson put together the TV show Ballers, a lot of the guys wait till they're running low on money and then they just throw it into something. And that's how the scammers get them. You know, even they were talking about one guy had his last $400,000. And this woman came by and was like, oh, I'm going to help you invest in real estate. Took the money and she ran. Now, that all plays into 1, 2, 3. Who is around him? What does he know? Limited focus. And number 3, scams. You're going to get to scams if the average football player's career, and the same goes for NBA, and the same in MLB, baseball, you'll have a longer career, but at the same time, they have some of the same terrible numbers once they retire. And the key is, who is around you? What is your know-how? Most people put yes people around them. Why? Because in high school, they had yes people. In middle school, they had yes people. In college, they had all these people. Whatever you say, man, that sounds like a great ideal. And if you're coming from a background of where you're like, I want to flip this money. And when you're talking to a 20 to 25-year-old, what are they thinking? I'm going to invest in a nightclub. I'm going to invest in a music studio. I'm going to invest in rappers. Shit that makes no sense. Because they don't know this. They just know that's cool. That's cool. And if you read any articles about actual accountants and CPAs who try to work with NFL players, That is what they talk about. How can I invest in a nightclub? How can I invest in this or that? And they'll go, that doesn't make sense for you in this moment right now. So they get opened up to scams where they lose clubs or they lose whatever they invest in because it's a scam. Okay. Number 4, math. 90% of people are bad at math. Now, why do I say 90%? Most studies show people don't make drastic changes financially or health-wise until a crisis comes. And so for these football players, you know, you're like, why are they broke? Well, the good times are rolling. Good times are rolling. There's money in my account. I swipe my card. I eat out. I think I was reading this thing about the rapper. One of these rappers went to a restaurant with 20 people, and they took his credit card and it declined, and he just pulled out another one. Then he just pulled out another one, and about 4 credit cards declined. That is bad, bro. Like when you're getting to 4 being declined at one time, the budget is out of control. The budget's out of control. And a lot of times, the key of money is being able to say no. Mariah Carey is out there singing, sadly, past her prime. Her voice is gone mostly. Now, once or two times I've seen her sing and it was okay, but nowhere near her Christmas album, nowhere near her high level singing. But what happens is they want to be relevant and they want to keep being out in the limelight, even though that is past them. Money gives you the power to say no. And I was going to show you Shaq's, all his investments. Even at Shaq's levels of investments, and Shaq played for years, his net worth's still only $400 million. So I just want to hop over and show you. I want to share the screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about with Shaq, because I just thought this was amazing. Because Shaq learned, because after his first paycheck, he ended up spending 45 minutes, $1 million. And the guy said, do you want to be broke? Shaq said no. So he said, all right, are you ready to listen? So this says 350, but he's at 400 million. He pretty much pulls in 22 million a year. Let me know if y'all can see the screen. He pulls in 22 million a year via, you know, Arizona cream soda, Icy Hot, Gold Bond, Buick, Zales. You've seen him in those commercials. You've seen those commercials. I'm gonna make the screen a little bit bigger, see if that helps you guys see it. I don't know if that's better or worse. You can let me know. But anyway, and so you see him on Fruity Pebbles. You see him on all these things, right? Then he was in Google stock before it went big. So imagine that. Okay, Google stock was 85 a share in 2004, and now it's 700. So go check. He's part owner of 17 Auntie A's pretzel restaurants. You know, you see those a lot in airports and whatnot. 150 car washes, 155 Five Guys Burgers and Fries franchises. That means he owns 10% of the company's entire franchise portfolio. So that means there's only 1,500 and some change Five Guys out there, and he owns 10% of them. Okay, let's keep going. He owns 40 24-hour fitness gyms. Now let's make it very clear. Gyms are sometimes break even. The bigger the gym are, they try to get a lot of signups because a lot of people won't come. It's the example thing what they do at Planet Fitness. They get all these people signing up, and because it's so crowded, you won't come. And it's so cheap, you don't feel bad about not coming. Las Vegas nightclubs. Okay, he owns Las Vegas nightclubs. He owns a movie theater in Newark, New Jersey. It's his hometown. And look at the wall. It's a giant Shaq dunking on the wall. Okay. He owns a complex, basically 866-foot complex in downtown Miami. It's one of the tallest. Has thousands of units. He owned part of Muscle Milk, which got bought by Hormel for $450 million. So whatever his share was, they had to break him off some money there. He was part owner of Vita Water. Okay. Remember 50 Cent's running around talking about water? Okay. Loyal 3 helped invest in startups. Now, of course, they had a little joke about him rapping and being in the movie Kazam. But think about that. Even Shaq thought he could rap and be in movies. Because their focus is so limited, that's what they think of. They think rapping, they think movies, they think music. I like music. So, you know, it's very clear that, and this is The Hustle, so you can always go over to The Hustle. And it just talks about him being a heck of a investor. But that's the key. A lot of these young men are like stuck on this ideal of, oh man, it's gonna be so great. It's gonna be so great. if I do this. So you got to really realize even if these people have millions of dollars, even they are stuck in that mindset. Sometimes I talk on the phone with some of y'all, I go, listen, you get your hands on $200,000, we're going to invest 100% of that money. Or we're going to invest 90% of that money and keep 10% for reserves. And some of you are like, oh, yeah, I thought we were going to flip it into $1 million. Dude, if you got 180, let's just get you some rentals and keep it moving, right? Because even when we talk about $100 million, some of these guys are getting $100 million over certain short careers. If you 10x that, that's $1 billion. There's no reason they're so far away. But one, you have taxes. Let's say you just chop 1/3 out of it. Okay. Then you take that 70 million, they gotta take about 20 million just for themselves and their family and their house, because they gotta put huge down payments down because they don't usually have great credit. They usually pay cash for a lot of items. And then, you keep chopping on the money and you realize management fees, letting other people manage their money. I mean, I remember telling one of the girls who was dating a football player, I said, even if he just sticks $1 million into this account and gets I think 10% back, I think it was 10% at the time, that's 100,000 a year. He could live well. And even listening to him hear 100,000, his face crunched up. Like 100,000, that's nothing, And you're like, but you sit on the bench. You're like the fifth string for this football team, Miami Dolphins. You're fifth. You're like the fifth guy. You're gonna be cut at any time. So I'm not gonna say his name. I'm trying not to be disrespectful, but we knew him, and eventually he did do that because he realized no other team was going to take him after the Miami Dolphins, and he'd been there for 4 years. So he ended up putting a bulk of his money away, bought a house back in North Carolina, came home and married some other girl, and lived well. But that's just basic math, There's a lot of people I meet who get a windfall. There was a lady in our town, she was homeless, driving her car to the hospital for her surgery, gets hit by some kind of company's truck, imagine a grocery store kind of truck. And while she's at the hospital messed up. So the company truck paid her $250,000, and the hospital paid her $250,000 because they both messed up. Let me tell you, that money was gone in 8 months. And every business owner in that area I knew was like, "Girl, we could have helped you buy a house. We could have helped you set up a business." And so when you talk about, people want reparations, or people want just give people more refund checks back from the school year, or let people go to college for free. If the mindset's not right, it won't work. It just will not work. There's so many instances where people are giving money and it'll just go through their hands. Even when the farming associations were charged with, hey, you guys defrauded thousands of Black farmers, Latino farmers, American Indian farmers, and we're going to give them money back. They gave people $50,000, and people were going out in these small country nowhere towns getting Cadillacs. Getting fucking Cadillacs. And it was like a running joke. It's like, oh yeah, tell them you're a farmer so you can go get you a Cadillac. And people were laughing about it. Lost grandpa and grandma's land, but you got a Cadillac. That's nice. It's the mindset is so short-tempered and so focused. If you know your son loves football, but you already know the numbers are like 99.9% he's not going to make it, what is something else he does well? Not that you should encourage him, but what is something else he does well? Even on the flip side, what is something he likes that he can invest in? They had a football player who was investing in Jamba Juices. And he came in the store and he worked in the store in the off season, and he enjoyed it. He wanted people to have healthy fruit juices. That's a win. That's a win. Like you gotta kind of say, even if it's NBA, the knees. Look at the freaking Derek dude from Chicago, whatever, they keep breaking his knees. Knees are bad in basketball. MLB, baseball, backs are bad. Core's bad. Football, head injuries, bad decisions. Okay, like there's a lot of these sports where people are going and they're going to have long-term health issues. So it's all about that mindset, dude. It's all about the mindset and ability to say no. One of the most joyful things for me running my business this many years is being able to say no. Some of you come in the comments, like I did the video yesterday, I was kind of ranting, I was having a moment. But people literally come and say, you better answer my questions. You better talk to me. And I go, guess what? I can say no. This is America. And I own my own business and I can tell you to kiss it. I had my friend die here. And, the next day, a lot of us went to the funeral, but I wasn't here. I went out of town. But imagine if you had a job that goes, yeah, you can't miss tomorrow. Yeah, real sorry about that, but you can't miss tomorrow. You have too many absences. I've seen people work jobs where they tell them they can't go to their children's functions. I've seen it. It's not even funny, dude. It's not even, I mean, like, oh, I have to have surgery. Well, can you have it on the weekend? I've had a company tell a guy, can he have his surgery on the weekend? No, clearly he cannot. They've scheduled it for Friday. Let him go home. So, I mean, money gives you the ability to say no. And when people say, why aren't these people more rich? Why are these people going bankrupt? One is ridiculous ass taxes, but two, they don't have any businesses. The people that are still paying really high taxes don't have a business. They're just, I'm a football player. I'm a celebrity. Prime example, and then I'm gonna give this one. Russell Simmons, when he did that credit card, that secured credit card, that bad credit card, I knew what that was about. That was a straight money play. When the Kardashians did it, that's what it was. It was like, man, how can we make money off poor people? That's what it was. That's what it was. It was how to make money off poor people. Same thing goes for a lot of these people you see starting to advertise on their Instagram. I remember they did sorry, this might be a little vulgar, but Vlad TV did an interview with some of these porn stars talking about, are you upset about these Instagram girls? And they were kind of bitter about it because they realized some of these Instagram girls are making $5,000 to $20,000, some of them $50,000 a month, and they ain't having to sleep with nobody. They ain't having to be on videotape. They ain't having to do all this other crazy stuff. Now, granted, are some of these Instagram ladies cray with the booty out? Yes, it's cray. But they're not selling their bodies technically, and they're making all this money. And so you can see in her face the anger of like, I get it, but I don't. Like, I get the Instagram, but I don't. And so there's so much disruption in the marketplace that you could make money easily and still be able to say no. What messes most people up is the fact they get all these obligations. Mariah Carey, if you ever see this video, you can go Google it, where her like 40th birthday, they bought her like a pink Mercedes Benz, pink this, pink that. Like, her house was half pink. She had all this crazy shit in there. It was just like outrageously crazy, over the top. It was like nobody's there to tell her no. It was like MTV Cribs and Nick Cannon had married her, and it was just like, this bitch is crazy. Same thing goes for when you see some of these people and you're like, that just something of, why are they out here doing this? Why are they marketing this way? Why is Jay-Z still rapping, right? Prime example of who I think has done it beautifully is Kobe Bryant. Say what you will about him, say what you will about his past behavior. This man went straight into tech, nose deep into tech. He really is absorbing it. I saw him on CBC Business, and I was like, who is that? Who is this black man that is so well versed on what's going on? And it was Kobe Bryant. And so the thing is, if you've got a 10-year plan, $10 million can become $100 million. Look at Grant Cardone, look at these people. A lot of them, if you ever listen to what they say, what could they do? What do they regret? They would go back and invest more. Grant Cardone's twin brother, who sold at least 2 businesses for at least $100 million and one for $300 million. He was like, man, if I knew what I knew now, I'd go back and invest in my brother day one. We'd be billionaires. So what happens is people run out of time. They run out of time. And they make the bad decisions on the front end. They have kids out of wedlock. They have all this child support. They have these bad decisions and obligations where they ran the debt up so high that they kind of keep living these lifestyles. And so that's part of what I see. Let me go up in here. Hold on. So I'm going to read some of you guys' comments, and then I'm going to jump off because I have an interview with a really, really nice lady. She's the company owner of Spit Honey. And so I don't think we're going to do Google Live. We're probably going to do a Zoom. So we'll see. Anthony D, hey, she clicked the like button. Marcel, hello. Logic Reign Supreme. Yeah, I mean, like, I can't remember his name, but it was like a rapper that wasn't super mainstream either. And so I'm like, what did you do in taking 20 people out? Fabulous or somebody was, it was crazy. It was crazy. Calls need. Most people mess up their money in their 20s and 30s and figure it out in their 40s and 50s during their highest earning years. Unfortunately, their highest earning years are in their 20s. Well, here's the thing. For football players and celebrities, yes. Their highest earning years are in their 20s. A weird study showed another high earning year for women is in their 40s if they had the kids in the 20s. because now they have kids that are grown up and going on to college, and they're really focused on work. And they do surveys, and those women are quite happy. Now, women who have to work while they have the little babies, not happy. Women who work all the way to 30 and keep up, not happy. And a lot of times, I honestly look at people's life and I go, I think you much rather want to be home with your babies. Some of y'all don't have these really demanding jobs that demand your presence. Not that you're not working, not that it's not hard, but the income is such a changer. Like, we have a friend that's in their late 40s wanting to quit their corporate job they've been at for almost 20 years. And everybody's like, you're at that age where they might not pick you up at another company. Not for the same pay. Not you're on the backside. You're on the 50s where it's gonna start going down. So true about people making a lot of mistakes. Like, I think you guys saw the video of the girl who had the 100,000 in student loan debt for drama and communications. And she tried to kind of like push it off on her parents and the people at school. And I'm like, no, take responsibility. At that point, take extreme responsibility. And she was a good looking girl. To me, all she needed to do is take a sales job for 1 or 2 or 3 years and knock that debt out. But be really good. Like, that's the only arena where I thought she could really make money. R. Ray LLC, Miami boy. All right, Mr. Clyde, true. Marcel, what kind of account should that football player have put his money in to receive that kind of return? A 10%? Oh, yeah. I mean, like, well, basically, you have a lot of firms who are like private money investment firms, right? Like all over Austin. If you Google Austin, if you Google private money lending or private money investing, they're everywhere. But again, it's based off, do you feel comfortable with this company? Because that private company can go, we're investing in gas stations. And then all of a sudden, we lost some of the funds of the firm. So you got to be careful about that. But that's, I mean, 10%, you can get 10% out of Lending Club. You can get 10% from some monthly dividend stocks. You can get 10% a lot of places. The key here is you can't put it all in one bucket is the key. If I had just $1 million, I'm going to put, you know, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm going to put 250,000 in the Lending Club. I'm going to put another 250,000 in real estate. Then I'm going to put another 250,000 in like something local business wise I could own, franchise I could own, and another 250,000 in something else, right? Even if it's private money, even if it's like my passive income club I'm a part of, or the apartment investing club I'm part of in Dallas. I would put it across the board. Like, that's the problem. A lot of these guys, if they were to just leave it in a bank that gave them a higher percent, I mean, even if the bank gave them 5% off of $1 million, still pretty good. Put the calculation in, you guys phone. But I mean, it's still pretty good. The key here is it should be some non-touch money. And it's hard to tell somebody who's just made a lot of money, yeah, you can't touch this money. You got to leave this money here. It's hard to tell them that. So, and nor football CTE. Yeah, you know, here's the thing about that whole CTE. I think kids in middle school and high school are suffering from that. I mean, I've seen football games in high school where kids were knocked unconscious, and the coach is like, yeah, you know, just let them sit on the side. And I'm like, now that you know what a concussion is and you see it, you're like, oh gosh. Vince Young of the that played for University of Texas. The last quarterback they had under Mike Brown before he left, that kid had 10 concussions in his college career. He scrambled brains. I mean, he just is. So, Donna, amen about the mindset. Mindset's very important. And MC is nuts. Her publishing is the only reason she's not bankrupt. I'm a serious fan. And Nora, listen, I love some Mariah Carey. She will forever, ever have that Christmas album that makes her bajillions of dollars. But like, once I saw that MTV Cribs and I saw her talk about her ex-husband, like I feel used. And I'm trying to be careful how I want to say it. But like, he was a company executive dating and marrying a singer. So would her contracts be in the best interest? Maybe not. I mean, he may have been inappropriate there. So, but a lot of them got in those careers. I'm not saying they got in the careers through sleeping with people. I mean, even people were kind of saying, oh, these stars are sleeping with people to get there. And that's the power of YouTube. That's the power of Instagram. You don't have to sleep with nobody to get in front of the camera. You don't have to. But it also is going to take you a little bit more business savvy to make the money, to have the sponsorships, to have the other things. Let's see. Most in NFL and yeah, professional sports players go broke within 2 years. Yeah. I think MLB, baseball is the longest. It takes them 5 years. But baseball has the highest divorce rate after they retire. So theirs even higher. And you know why? Because he's on the road. You know how long baseball season is? It's a very long season. So you have this man that's been away. He's been away every season. You're just enjoying your house and the money. And then he comes back and he's retired and he has nothing to do. So you're dealing with a whole nother dynamic. And so these marriages kind of go down. Then they've got to pay her. Then they might have a baby. Mama had another baby. Then they still got people thinking they still make a lot of money. And so they do go broke. Because not because of something they did, it's something they didn't do. They still spend at the same level as though they're still playing. Like the money's gonna come forever. Be great. Feel free to get a consult. Joshua Hill. You got to find them all over. Go on Indeed.com. We're going to stay on topic, though. Zachary, you know my channel. I am a tax lien lady. So, but since you guys don't have any more conversation about NFL players or Mariah Carey going broke, I am going to roll out. And I have a great interview today later with a nice young lady, and I'll be posting that on my Facebook page. You'll see that here. The video will be posted here. But I'm going to roll. But again, be wise. What are the 4 reasons these people go broke? People around them. The know-how is not there. Focus is too limited. Scams. And 4, math. Again, if it sounds too good to be true, it is a scam. So, everybody, this is Erica, Classy Climb Blog. You guys have been great. Have an awesome day.